Several beloved stars, including Bruce Willis, Christina Applegate, Gene Hackman, and Michael J. Fox, have faced the harsh reality of being forced to retire due to incurable diseases. Willis, the iconic action star, recently announced his retirement from acting due to aphasia, a neurological condition affecting speech and language comprehension. FactsVerse presents stars who were forced to retire due to diseases that can't be cured. Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis has become a cinematic icon, known for his charismatic performances and versatile roles. His journey to stardom began in the 1980s, but it was his breakout role as Officer John McClane in the 1988 action film Die Hard that shot him to international fame. Willis grew up in a military family, moving frequently during his childhood. This nomadic lifestyle instilled in him a sense of adaptability that later proved valuable in his acting career. Before pursuing acting, he worked odd jobs, including security guard and private investigator, experiences that went on to inform some of his future roles. In the mid-80s, he gained recognition for his role as David Addison Jr. in the TV series Moonlighting, showcasing his comedic timing and on-screen charm. But it was his transition to the big screen with Die Hard that established him as an action star. The film's success marked the beginning of a string of action-packed roles for Willis, solidifying his status as a bankable leading man. Throughout the 90s, he continued to diversify his filmography, starring in a range of genres from science fiction, like The Fifth Element, to romantic comedy, The Whole Nine Yards. His ability to seamlessly transition between genres showcased his versatility as an actor, earning him critical acclaim and a dedicated fan base. While he's often associated with action films, he has also delved into dramatic roles, earning praise for performances in movies like Pulp Fiction and The Sixth Sense. Despite facing a mix of successes and failures in his career, Willis has maintained his status as a Hollywood heavyweight. He's not only known for his acting prowess, but also for his enduring on-screen presence and distinctive persona. He also made notable contributions to philanthropy and has been involved in various charitable endeavors. But sadly, the career of one of our finest actors has come to an abrupt end. He was diagnosed with aphasia, which was part of his bigger diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia. It affects his ability to speak and process language, and he has largely stepped out of the limelight since. Christina Applegate. Christina Applegate emerged as a talented actress whose career has showcased her comedic flair and dramatic ability. Her journey into the entertainment industry began early on, influenced by her actress mother, Nancy Priddy. She made her TV debut at just 3 months old on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. She rose to prominence in the late 80s with her role as Kelly Bundy on Married with Children. Her portrayal of the ditzy but lovable character made her a household name and established her as a comedic force in the industry. Despite the show's controversial nature, Applegate's comedic timing and on-screen presence garnered positive attention. As the 90s unfolded, Applegate successfully transitioned from television to film, showcasing her acting range in various genres. She gained critical acclaim for her performance in the dark comedy Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead and demonstrated her ability to tackle dramatic roles in films like The Sweetest Thing. In the early 2000s, Applegate returned to television with the lead role in the sitcom Jessie, earning a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. Her success on the small screen continued, with appearances on shows like Friends and Samantha Who. Tragedy struck in 2008 when Applegate was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her resilience and determination were evident as she underwent a double mastectomy, emerging as a vocal advocate for breast cancer awareness. Post-recovery, she continued to make her mark in Hollywood, earning accolades for her role in the series Dead to Me. The role earned her Emmy nominations and further solidified her standing as a talented and versatile actress. Beyond her acting career, she's been involved in various philanthropic endeavors, supporting causes related to breast cancer awareness and research. However, her diagnosis of multiple sclerosis has stopped her from continuing her career for the most part. She does a bit of voiceover work, and she's hoping she can continue this for a while. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman has earned acclaim for his diverse roles, ranging from intense character dramas to action-packed blockbusters. Hackman's early life was marked by financial struggles, and he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps before pursuing acting. His journey into Hollywood began with stage performances and television roles in the 1950s. But it was in the 1960s that Hackman started gaining recognition for his film work, with notable appearances in films like Bonnie and Clyde, where he played the role of Buck Barrow. The 70s 70s solidified Hackman's status as a leading actor in Hollywood. He delivered powerful performances in films like The French Connection, for which he won the Academy Award for Best Actor, and The Conversation, showcasing his versatility in both gritty crime dramas and psychological thrillers. Hackman's success continued into the 80s with memorable roles in films like Superman the Movie, where he portrayed the iconic villain Lex Luthor, and Reds, for which he received another Academy Award nomination. His ability to seamlessly transition between genres, portraying both heroes and villains, endeared him to audiences and directors alike. One of his most iconic roles came in the 90s with his portrayal of Little Bill Daggett in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. The film earned critical acclaim and solidified Hackman's place as one of the finest actors of his generation. Despite being known for his intense and often brooding characters, he also displayed a talent for comedy in films like The Birdcage. In 2004, he announced his retirement from acting, with his final film being Welcome to Mooseport. Gene stated he had heart problems and was facing a lot of stress in his old age. As a result, he was forced to retire. His health has been failing lately, but he lives a quieter life in Florida. He's written a few books since his retirement from acting, so at least he's been busy with that. Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox's career is characterized by his charismatic on-screen presence, versatility, and courage in the face of a life-altering health condition. His acting career took off in the 80s with his role as Alex P. Keaton on Family Ties. Simultaneously, he achieved cinematic success with the iconic role of Marty McFly in the Back to the Future trilogy. In the late 1980s, Fox faced a significant personal challenge when he was diagnosed with young-onset Parkinson's disease at age 29. Despite the diagnosis, Fox continued to work in the industry, displaying incredible resilience and determination. His decision to disclose his diagnosis in 1998, after years of managing his symptoms in private, showcased his commitment to raising awareness about Parkinson's disease and advocating for research. Fox's work as an advocate for Parkinson's research has been as impactful as his acting career. He established the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research in 2000, which has since become a leading force in funding research aimed at finding a cure for the disease. In 2013, he announced his semi-retirement from acting due to the progression of his Parkinson's disease. Despite this, he's made occasional guest appearances on television shows, maintaining his connections with audiences and the industry. His memoir, Lucky Man, published in 2002, provides a candid and inspirational account of his life, career, and battle with Parkinson's. Documenting her life. Fans clamor for as much info as possible about their favorite celebrities. Lucky for her fans, Tina Turner has documented her life several times. The first one came in the form of her 1986 autobiography entitled I, Tina. It was her first attempt at a memoir. She has since written other books, including one entitled My Life Story. In 1993, the story of her life found its way to the big screen. The movie What's Love Got to Do with It, named after one of her famous songs, was released. It starred Angela Bassett and enjoyed a successful run. In 2019, Tina found her story appearing in another form. A musical about her life called The Tina Turner Story opened on Broadway. She attended the premiere with her husband Erwin as a way to say goodbye to her American fans. An upcoming feature-length documentary called Tina will be released on HBO to reveal even more details about her life. It's also meant to be a send-off to help her say goodbye to fans from all over the world. There are several aspects of Tina's experience that no amount of memoirs, films, and musicals could cover. Even her most devoted fans may not know about her traumatic early experiences and health scares that led her to retire after a long, successful career. Tina Turner's road to success. Tina became a solo act in the 80s and enjoyed massive success. Her hits include River Deep Mountain High, Proud Mary, and many more. Throughout her career, she sold more than 100 million records, won 12 Grammys, earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, became the first black artist and first female to appear on the cover of Rolling Stone, and even appeared in Mel Gibson's 1985 film Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Tina's now 81 years old and working to gracefully step out of the limelight. She made her last album in 1999 at age 59 and gave her final public performance in 2009. She recently returned to recording one last time to honor the 1984 hit What's Love Got to Do with It, her only solo #1 hit in the US. She created a dance remix of the track with producer Kygo. PTSD. Tina Turner was born Anna Mae Bullock and raised in Nutbush, Tennessee. She grew up poor, picking cotton to make enough money to survive. Abuse has always been present in her life. Her dad, Floyd Bullock, abused her mother, Zelma. Tina was abandoned by both of them at a young age. She eventually reunited with her mother, but the relationship remained strained. Tina tried to do everything she could to improve it, even buying her a house, but nothing ever seemed to be enough. This family drama wasn't the only thing that caused Tina emotional turmoil. Her marriage to Ike Turner in 1962 was one of the most traumatic periods in her life. She was so desperate to escape that in 1968, she took sleeping pills and almost overdosed. The couple divorced in 1976. She asked for nothing in the court proceedings except for the rights to keep her famous stage name. Ike died of an accidental overdose in 2007. Tina says she's forgiven him and now realizes how ill he was while they were together. Forgiveness has helped Tina move on, but the scars from these traumatic experiences remain. She suffers from PTSD and has recurring nightmares. Craig's death. Tina had a son with Ike named Ronnie, adopted his 2 children, Ike Jr. and Michael, and had a son of her own named Craig from a previous relationship. Craig committed suicide in LA in 2018 at age 59. Tina had Craig's ashes spread on the California coast. She admits it was the worst moment in her life as a mother, and that he will, quote, always be my baby. Body image issues. Tina is one celebrity who seems to radiate confidence with her boisterous performances and bold style choices. Despite these appearances, she suffers from self-doubt and body image issues and continues to fight them every day. She developed a negative perception of herself at a young age, a feeling that may have begun thanks to early childhood abuse. She even felt uncomfortable with her famously long legs. This was another struggle Tina eventually overcame. She realized she must focus on how she feels about herself. She fights negative thoughts by replacing them with positive ones. Tina always knew her opinion of herself has a major impact on how others view her. Working on her own self-confidence only made her more accepted and adored by fans. And fame was no help because she doubted anyone would love her once they saw her without the wigs and shiny outfits. She continued to struggle with this feeling until true love finally entered her life. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to FactsVerse, and stick around for a lot more about Tina Turner. Tina and Erwin. Tina and German record producer Erwin Bach met in Europe in 1985. This was about 10 years after she ended her abusive relationship with Ike Turner. She had been hesitant to date anyone but felt something immediately and didn't want to lose him. They met up again in America and quickly began a relationship. Some of this reluctance continued even after the couple got more comfortable with each other. Tina turned down Erwin's first proposal, but they eventually got married in 2013 after almost 26 years together. They shared a home in Germany in the 90s, but eventually moved to Switzerland for his job. This home is now where they spend most of their time. The couple is 16 years apart in age. The attraction was immediate, and he admits they, quote, still have that spark. Stroke. 3 weeks after marrying Erwin, Tina Turner suffered a massive stroke. It kept her from standing or walking on her own for some time. She notes that resilience and determination have always been her best assets, and the secret to maintaining the right mindset is to never complain. The superstar showed off her determination after her stroke. When she first arrived at the hospital, she failed to accept the fact that she could be paralyzed. She tried to walk on her own but fell. Eventually, Tina was able to retrain her right arm and leg to move properly. She said the incident didn't leave her depressed because she was too determined to fix it. Cancer. Health problems tend to compound each other. This was certainly the case for Tina. She received an intestinal cancer diagnosis in 2016. It spread so severely it led to total kidney failure. Kidney transplant. She admits her medical issues put her in a place where she was surviving but not living. She became so sick she considered assisted suicide. The process is legal in Switzerland, where she and Erwin now live as legal citizens. Tina's husband has always been a positive force in her life, providing healing energy and helping her through all forms of personal and medical trauma. Eventually, he took this one step further. In April of 2017, Erwin volunteered to donate a kidney to his beloved wife. It was a risky process due to the couple's age, but turned out to be a success. Tina's health has improved since the transplant. Her life today. Tina Turner admits she's proud of the legacy she's made and the impact it's had on her fans. Still, she knows it can't last forever and wants to make the transition into a normal life go as smoothly as possible. She lives with her husband in Switzerland on the edge of Lake Zurich. The upcoming documentary will provide a deeper glimpse into their home and daily routine. His last film was a major flop. The lackluster rom-com How Do You Know hit theaters in 2010. It featured seriously big names like Owen Wilson, Reese Witherspoon, Paul Rudd, and Jack. While all these stars are typically known for appearing in blockbusters, this film ended up being both a critical and commercial failure. Against its massive $120 million budget, the movie only made back a little over a third of that, and it was panned by critics virtually everywhere. 4 years later, the LA Times named it one of the costliest box office failures of all time. It's quite possible Nicholson decided he didn't want to further taint his otherwise glowing legacy by agreeing to appear in more subpar films in the future. Or maybe rumors of his declining health are true, and that's why he's been so reclusive. Either way, How Do You Know is the last time we've seen him in a major motion picture. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. He's turned down several film roles in the last 12 years. Despite appearing in a few duds, Nicholson has starred in numerous highly regarded and commercially successful films throughout his career, including As Good as It Gets, About Schmidt, and The Departed. In recent years, however, Jack has passed on a few film roles that ended up going to other veteran actors. A few of these went on to become enormously successful films. Following the success of About Schmidt, Alexander Payne offered Nicholson the lead in his 2013 film Nebraska, but Nicholson declined the offer. The lead instead went to actor Bruce Dern, who went on to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance. It's further been reported that Nicholson turned down a role in the Ted Melfi film St. Vincent. It was said that Jack was Melfi's first choice, but after he passed on it, the role went to Bill Murray. Bill Murray was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a musical or comedy for his performance in that flick. While it remains unclear why Nicholson turned down these opportunities, especially since they were both from filmmakers with glowing reputations, the decision likely had less to do with the roles themselves and more with Nicholson's declining health and lack of desire to keep acting. Nicholson almost starred in a remake of a European comedy. In 2017, Variety ran a story indicating he was gearing up to star in an English-language remake of a 2016 German movie called Toni Erdmann. The original film was about a father who was trying to reconnect with his estranged daughter. Nicholson was the name most closely associated with the film, but other reports indicated Bill Murray was also interested. When the news of the film first broke, actress Kristen Wiig was announced to be the co-star, playing Nicholson's daughter. Paramount Pictures was stated to be making the film, and Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, in addition to Wiig, were listed as producers. Later, it was confirmed that Jenny Connor and Lena Dunham were attached to the film as writers. 18 months after the movie was announced, Nicholson dropped out for unknown reasons. While Ferrell, McKay, and Wiig remain attached to the film, Connor and Dunham have moved on to other projects. As of 2022, it remains in development. With age, Jack's attitude towards Hollywood has changed. In a 2013 interview with The Sun, Jack admitted that as he's grown older, some of the allure of Hollywood has faded. He told the outlet he doesn't want to keep working until the day he dies, and that was never what he wanted when he first started. Later in the interview, Jack revealed there's always been a part of him that never liked being in Hollywood, and he merely learned how to function in the environment to get his work done. Nicholson added that taking on new film roles was a great source of stress for him. He explained that whenever he signs on to a role, he often thinks about other actors that would be better suited for it, and that he often worries about what he's going to do if he can't handle it. Jack then discussed how the movie landscape has changed over the years. While he's always been committed to doing films about emotions that move people, he expressed he was worried that younger audiences no longer want to be moved. A source close to Jack says his health is rapidly failing. Last year, the UK news outlet Express ran an eye-opening story that shed a little light on why we haven't seen Nicholson in years. According to that article, a source close to Nicholson told gossip celebrity news site Radar that the star was living out the remainder of his sad last days at his LA mansion. Although there has been no confirmation from either Nicholson or his spokespeople that his health is failing, that same source told Radar Nicholson no longer leaves his house and his son and daughter have taken over caring for his responsibilities. The source said that the Mulholland Drive community Nicholson is a part of is rather close-knit, and they've been worried about him for quite some time. The source went into specifics, saying that while physically Nicholson is doing just fine, it's his mind that's fading. In an unrelated story run by Closer Weekly following the death of Kobe Bryant, the outlet published a quote by Nicholson expressing his grief over the loss of the famed NBA star. The article went on to say Nicholson is currently making up for lost time by spending time with his friends and family while doing his best to live out the remainder of his life to the fullest. Nicholson's kids frequently visit him. Jack's one and only marriage to actress Sandra Knight lasted 6 years. For the next couple of decades, the list of women he dated read like a who's who of Hollywood's hottest actresses and socialites. Nicholson has fathered 6 children with 5 different women. Today, his daughter Jennifer is in her late 50s. She was the only child he fathered with his ex-wife Sandra Knight. He had 2 children, Lorraine and Ray, with his ex Rebecca Broussard. These 3 kids all reportedly make frequent visits to Jack's LA home. His other 3 children, Caleb, Honey, and Tessa, he's far less close to and rarely gets a chance to see. When his kids were younger, Jack was hardly ever around. Reportedly, this is one of his biggest regrets in life. So it makes sense that as he gets up there in age, he would make a point to prioritize family. It also makes a lot of sense that if his mental faculties are indeed deteriorating, Jack's kids would be more than willing to go out of their way to spend some time with him. Because with things like dementia, you can never get back what's lost. So Jack could be in a situation where he sees the proverbial writing on the wall. Knowing his time is limited, he might be attempting to set things right while he still can. The original post. The information about Willis's health was first posted on Instagram by his family. Specifically, his daughter, Rumor, posted a photo of Bruce on her account. She revealed her father was suffering from aphasia, which makes communication very difficult. As such, she told the world that since the condition is affecting his cognitive abilities, he'd be forced to retire. She went on to talk about how his condition, as well as his decision to step away from the acting world, was causing his family to go through an intensely difficult time. But she expressed love and gratitude for the support the family and Bruce were already getting from fans, saying that as they continued to deal with this difficult time as a family, they felt they should bring Bruce's fans into the loop. The post was not only signed by Rumor, but also her mom, Bruce's ex, Demi Moore, as well as his other kids and current wife, Emma Hemming. Emma's immediate reactions. Shortly after the Willis family post about Bruce's condition, People magazine published information given to them by a source close to the family. It had to do with Emma's plans on moving forward with her husband in a more incapacitated state. The source said that not only did the blended family intend to spend as much time together as possible and support each other, but that Emma was, more than ever, thankful for the daughters she shares with Bruce. In fact, days after the Instagram announcement of Bruce's retirement, the whole family gathered to celebrate Emma and Bruce's daughter Mabel's birthday. The young girl turned 10 that day, and the family came together to make sure they celebrated the happy event as a family unit and to try to forget about Bruce's troubling diagnosis, at least for a bit. That focus on happy moments seems to be a prime goal for the family, as they feel it will help the process of living their new reality together. Another person close to the Willis family told People magazine that the goal of the family is also to rally around Bruce, to be able to support him in whatever ways he needs. And a third person, close to Emma, told the media outlet that Bruce was so fortunate to have the family he has. They pointed out there couldn't possibly be a better group of people to be supportive and helpful to him. They also said Emma's part in this is huge, and despite the tragedy of having to experience the decline of a spouse, she was doing the best she could. And she's especially trying to keep it together for Bruce's sake. Emma's more recent revelations. National Grief Awareness Day happened recently, and Emma Hemming took the opportunity to share how she's been doing in the wake of her husband's condition. She put up an Instagram post that documented the last 3 months' activity for her and her family. It was in the form of a montage set to Aretha Franklin's rendition of I Say a Little Prayer. As the images played through, viewers could see her caption, which was all about the process of self-discovery that she and her family were all going through as of late. She wrote about the nature of grief and how it can be a paralytic. She assured her followers that she was deeply affected by it and yet learning the best ways to live with it. She also mentioned something her stepdaughter Scout told her. That was that grief is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's perhaps the most telling sign of deep and unending love for someone. She ended by adding a wish for her followers and all fans of Bruce, which was that she hoped her words would help them find solace in whatever grief they're going through. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Impromptu Harmonica Jam. In August of 2022, Emma updated fans with a video on Instagram that featured Bruce Willis doing one of his favorite activities, playing the harmonica. And for Willis, harmonica and music have been much more than a hobby. Not only is Bruce a skilled actor and action star, but he's also a veteran professional musician. He came out with an album in 1987 that was called The Return of Bruno. It was a blues-based album that featured appearances from stars like Booker T. Jones, the Pointer Sisters, and the Temptations. And it was released in one of the peaks of his career, the late 80s, when Willis was not only starring in the hit show Moonlighting, but had also broken out as a major action star from the first Die Hard movie. Because of that, his album garnered a lot of interest and sold a lot of copies. It went gold in the US, peaking at the number 14 spot on the Billboard chart. It even went to number 4 in the UK. Reviews of the album were mixed, with most people finding it an enjoyable, if not kitschy release that was a fun listen. Willis later released a less successful album in 1989 called If It Don't Kill You, It Just Makes You Stronger. In the Instagram post put up by Emma, Bruce was shown sitting on some indoor steps playing blues harmonica while family friend and fellow musician Derek Richard Thomas strummed the acoustic guitar and sang. Along with the video, Emma posted a caption that read, "Their talent is speaking for itself. I'll just leave this here." Other Instagram posts. Emma also posted an Instagram photo that showed Bruce and Rumer in a loving father-daughter embrace. She captioned that photo with B-Dub and that firstborn love. She also included another photo that showed her daughters with Bruce, Mabel Ray and Evelyn, alongside Rumer and Bruce's musician buddy, Derek Richard Thomas, all sitting outside on a Sunday summer afternoon. So clearly the family is continuing to live life to the fullest and share as much time together as they can, as they struggle through the difficult journey of Bruce's battle with aphasia. Aphasia. Many of Bruce's fans have wondered about the nature of this condition as well as its potential causes. But the Willis family has been quiet about whether or not they are aware of the causes of the condition. What is known is that aphasia can drastically change the way a person is able to communicate. It happens by not only limiting your speech, but also by affecting your ability to understand other people when they talk. It can also make it increasingly difficult for people to communicate through writing and even to understand the written word. Some of the underlying conditions that have been known to cause it are Alzheimer's disease, brain tumors, or even a stroke or head injury. But the Willis family has not so far released any information as to whether Bruce is known to have any of those issues. What's likely is that if this condition worsens, he'll be treated with speech therapy. He'll likely also be helped out with communication skills by being taught ways to utilize nonverbal communication. Jack Hanna is a legendary zookeeper who served as the director of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium from 1978 to 92. To some animal lovers, zoos are controversial because they believe the animals should be free in the wild. However, as Jack Hanna has proved, zoos are a lot more than just entertainment for people. While it's true that some zoos don't provide adequate space and enrichment for some of their animals, most zoos strive to create a stimulating environment for each and every animal they house. Furthermore, zoos aren't just there for people to look at animals. They're important for scientists to study animal behavior so they can use their knowledge to help species in the wild. Zoos are also essential for conservation efforts. Many critically endangered animals are housed at zoos, where they're bred with other members of the same species in an effort to prevent extinction. And they serve as an essential way for people to learn about animals. Jack Hanna has truly embodied the spirit of what zoos all over the world are trying to accomplish, and he's made great strides in making animals happier and healthier while kept in zoos. He's also made many television appearances where he used platforms with Johnny Carson, Good Morning America, and David Letterman, among others, to educate and inspire others about the important work that happens in zoos. The Columbus Zoo and Aquarium opened in 1927, but in the beginning it was far less magnificent than it is today. It's because of Jack Hanna's influence that the Columbus Zoo has been transformed into a safe haven for animals across the world. The huge nonprofit zoo houses many endangered animals and even supports other conservation efforts throughout the world. Sadly, however, Jack Hanna's brilliant work has come to a close, and he's had to pass on the torch to the people he's inspired over the years. Recently, it was announced Hanna had received a devastating diagnosis. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Jack Hanna's work and legacy, as well as the sad reason why he's retired. The beginning of his amazing career. Jack Hanna has been fascinated with animals his entire life. In college, he began studying business and political science, but his passion for animals was a major point of his college years. He even got in big trouble because he kept several ducks in his dorm room and even a donkey behind his frat house. After graduating, he decided to open up a petting zoo with his wife, Susie. The petting zoo housed several dangerous animals, including a lion. Tragically, however, a 3-year-old boy snuck past one of the barriers and was mauled by the lion and lost his arm as a result. Jack Hanna had to shut down the petting zoo and moved out of state with his family. Thankfully, things began to turn around for Hanna in 1973 when he was chosen as director of the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens. Not long after, he was offered the coveted position of director of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Believe it or not, though, the real reason he accepted the job was because it was near Columbus Children's Hospital. The hospital was renowned for its state-of-the-art technology, and he wanted his beloved young daughter to go there. She was suffering from leukemia at the time, and he wanted the best care for her. Thankfully, she made a full recovery, and Hanna had a new career to boot. His sad diagnosis. Jack Hanna had a long and prolific career, but he retired from his position as Director Emeritus of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium in 2020. He's largely kept out of the public eye since then, but more recently, his family announced devastating news. Jack Hanna has been suffering from dementia, and over the last few months, his health has declined rapidly. More recently, doctors have expressed they're fairly certain he has Alzheimer's. While Jack was previously able to charm and educate viewers of any age with his vast wealth of knowledge regarding animals, he simply isn't able to do what he used to these days. His family assured longtime fans that his humor is still shining through, but they ask for privacy in these difficult times. Zoos and fans all over the world are sending their love and support, while still respecting the family's privacy regarding Jack Hanna's tragic situation. Sadly, we'll never again get to see Jack Hanna in his classic khaki pants holding some exotic animal with that special spark of passion in his eyes. He was a great influence to animal lovers all over the world, and he'll continue to be through his legacy. How much is he worth? It's no secret that the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium is one of the most successful zoos in the world. It has a vast menagerie of animals, as well as many other attractions that make it a popular destination. Jack Hanna held that coveted position of zoo director for decades, and since then was director emeritus until his retirement in 2020. So how much is the legendary Jungle Jack worth today? Jack Hanna's amazing net worth is estimated at $5 million. This means he and his family can live quite comfortably. Not only does he own a cozy cabin right next to Glacier National Park, located in Montana, but also a second home in Rwanda, where he and his wife would visit at least once a year. Even though Jack's condition is rapidly progressing, he'll at least be able to live in comfort. Jack may be nearing the end of his life, but he's left such an amazing impact on the world. Furthermore, he has an amazing life story that goes beyond his work at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Make sure you stick around until the end because we're going to reveal the heartwarming story behind his marriage to his wife, Susie. And if you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts Verse for more. How Jack Hanna changed the Columbus Zoo forever. When Jack Hanna was first chosen to lead the Columbus Zoo, it wasn't exactly impressive. The housing for the animals was hardly more than a few cages and pens. Under Jack's direction, however, the zoo has been transformed into so much more. Now the wildlife held there has sprawling enclosures filled with plenty of enrichment to keep the animals stimulated and healthy. The scenery of the Columbus Zoo is gorgeous, and today it spans an amazing 580 acres of land, housing over 7,000 individual animals from about 580 different species. His expertise proved handy when several wild animals escaped. In 2011, authorities called on Jack when the small town of Zanesville, Ohio was in crisis. A small county zoo, which had already been in trouble for inadequate animal housing, experienced a horrible tragedy. The owner of the zoo set free 50 animals before taking his own life. A total of 18 tigers, as well as several lions, bears, leopards, and wolves, all had escaped and were at large, where they could potentially maul and even kill innocent civilians. Jack was called on for his amazing animal expertise, and he was indispensable as he helped authorities track down the missing animals. Sadly, the authorities did not have proper equipment to safely trap and return the animals, and had to resort to killing many of them. While Jack was devastated, he admitted it was the only way. Thankfully, a few animals managed to survive and were all able to be housed safely at his very own Columbus Zoo. The truth behind his marriage. While attending university, Jack Hanna met Susie Egley. Before long, the two fell in love and were married in 1968. They've remained together ever since. Together, the couple opened their very own petting zoo before it had to be shut down. Since then, Susie has remained by Hanna's side while he worked as director of the Columbus Zoo, and also frequently appeared alongside him in many television appearances. She shares his deep love for animals and is incredibly knowledgeable about them. It's certain that even though Jack Hanna will be unable to make public appearances from now on, Susie will continue to contribute to the world of animal lovers for many years. Terry's diagnosis. Teri Garr, the beloved American actress known for her versatile roles, faced a significant health challenge when she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, or MS, in the late 1990s. MS is a chronic autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system, causing a range of physical and neurological symptoms. Teri's diagnosis had a profound impact on her life, leading to both personal and public awareness about living with this condition. She first noticed symptoms of MS in the early 1980s, but it was initially misdiagnosed. It wasn't until several years later, in 1999, that she received the correct diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. It can manifest in various ways, with symptoms that may include fatigue, muscle weakness, difficulty with coordination, vision problems, and cognitive impairment. Teri's journey with MS has involved managing these and other symptoms. Living with MS has significantly affected her life and career. She's been open about challenges she faces, including the physical limitations that MS can impose. For an actress known for her physical comedy and expressive performances, these changes were particularly challenging. She had to adapt her life and career to accommodate her health needs, which included managing her energy level and dealing with mobility issues. Despite these difficulties, Teri continued to work in the industry and maintain a public presence, though less frequently than before her diagnosis. Her candor about her experiences with MS served as an inspiration for others facing the disease, providing a valuable example of how one can persevere and adapt to life's challenges. Her advocacy efforts have also helped raise awareness about MS and the importance of supporting research for treatments and a cure. Her story underscores the importance of resilience and determination when living with a chronic condition like MS. Brain aneurysm. Teri experienced a life-changing event in 2006 when she suffered a brain aneurysm. This medical condition had a profound impact on her life and career, shedding light on the importance of awareness and early detection of such critical health issues. A brain aneurysm is a potentially life-threatening condition characterized by a weak or bulging spot in the wall of a blood vessel within the brain. If left untreated, an aneurysm can rupture, leading to bleeding in the space surrounding the brain, or other severe complications. Teri's case was a reminder that brain aneurysms can affect anyone, regardless of their age or health. In December 2006, she experienced symptoms of a severe headache, which she initially dismissed as a migraine. But when the pain persisted and intensified, she sought medical attention. Doctors diagnosed her with a brain aneurysm and quickly took action to address the issue. She underwent surgery to repair it, a procedure aimed at preventing a rupture and its potentially devastating consequences. Following the surgery, Teri faced a challenging road to recovery. She experienced physical and cognitive challenges, including difficulties with balance and speech. These are common side effects of brain surgery, especially when it involves the delicate structures of the brain. Her determination and resilience, coupled with ongoing rehabilitation and therapy, played a significant role in her recovery. Teri's openness about her experience with a brain aneurysm raised awareness about this often silent and life-threatening condition. Her willingness to share her story and advocate for brain health encouraged others to seek medical attention. Advocacy and charity work. Terry has been involved in various charitable and philanthropic endeavors throughout her life, using her platform and personal experiences to support causes she cares about. While her public appearances have become less frequent due to her health challenges, she's remained committed to making a positive impact in her community and beyond. Here are some of the philanthropic activities Terry's been involved in. National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Given her own diagnosis of MS, Terry has been an active advocate for MS awareness and research. She's participated in events and campaigns organized by the National MS Society, helping to raise funds and increase public understanding of the disease. The Holly Rod Foundation. Terry has lent her support to the Holly Rod Foundation, an organization founded by actress Holly Robinson Peete and her husband, former NFL player Rodney Peete. The foundation is dedicated to providing support and resources to people and families affected by autism and Parkinson's disease. Terry's involvement reflects her commitment to helping those facing neurological conditions like MS. Charity events. Over the years, Terry has participated in charity events and fundraisers to support various causes, including those related to healthcare, education, and the arts. Her presence has helped raise awareness and funds for these important charitable organizations. Advocacy for women's health. Terry has also used her platform to advocate for women's health issues. She's spoken about the importance of regular health checkups and early detection of health conditions, particularly among women. Through interviews and public speaking engagements, Terry Garr has shared her personal experiences with her own health challenges, including MS and her recovery from her brain aneurysm. By doing so, she's helped educate the public about these conditions and encouraged others to seek medical attention and support when needed. Career highlights. Terry Garr enjoyed a successful and versatile career in the entertainment industry, with a wide range of film and television roles that showcased her talent and versatility as an actress. Here are just some of the highlights. Her career began in the 1960s when she worked as a dancer in various television shows and films. She gained recognition for her dance skills and quickly transitioned into acting. One of her early career breakthroughs came when she appeared in the iconic 1974 comedy Young Frankenstein, directed by Mel Brooks. Her role as Inga, the lab assistant, showcased her comedic timing and physical comedy skills. She received acclaim for her role as Sandy Lester in the 1977 film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, directed by Steven Spielberg. The film was a massive success, and her performance added to its appeal. In 1982, she starred alongside Dustin Hoffman in the comedy-drama film Tootsie, and her performance earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Her talent wasn't limited to film, she also had a successful television career. She received an Emmy Award nomination for her role in the 1988 TV movie The Last Electric Night. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Terry appeared in numerous TV shows and films, showcasing her versatility. She was known for an ability to tackle both dramatic and comedic roles with equal skill. She also made memorable guest appearances in popular shows like Friends and Seinfeld, where her comedic talent shined. Her contribution to the entertainment industry extended to voice acting too. She lent her voice to animated series like Batman, the Animated Series, and Johnny Bravo. While her health challenges, including her battle with MS, slowed her down in later years, her legacy as a talented and influential actress remains intact. Acceptance after denial. Neil Diamond's initial reaction to his Parkinson's diagnosis was one of denial. Quote, "I denied being diagnosed with the ailment for the first year or two of living with Parkinson's," he admitted in a recent interview. Fortunately, acceptance eventually found its way in, bringing an unexpected tranquility. Over time, he's found himself in the eye of the storm, a place of quiet amidst the swirling chaos of life-altering changes. He highlighted this fact when he opened up to the outlet Closer, saying, quote, "Somehow a calm has moved in, and the hurricane of my life has gotten very quiet." Music as life's symphony. One of the defining elements of Neil's life journey has been his unwavering passion for music. Despite withdrawing from the rigors of touring, Diamond's ardor for music remains undiminished, and his flame burns bright as ever. This love for music found a platform last December during the opening night of A Beautiful Noise, a Broadway musical paying tribute to his life and contributions to the world of music. Diamond made a surprise appearance that night, leading the cast and audience in a soul-stirring rendition of his iconic song, Sweet Caroline. The crowd's thunderous applause and the palpable air of adulation were a testament to Diamond's lasting impact in the music world. In the quietude of his retirement, he discovered an unexpected silver lining. His voice, the medium through which he's touched countless hearts, seems to have in fact improved. In his chat with Closer, he remarked, quote, "In a strange way, I think I'm singing better than ever. It's probably because I'm not on the road singing full out and tearing up my voice. So it's in very good shape, which I didn't expect." This rejuvenation of his voice bore testament to the fact that sometimes life's most significant changes bring about unexpected gifts. Family bonds. Every life journey, however challenging, becomes a little more bearable with the love and support of family. Central to Diamond's journey through Parkinson's has been the unwavering support from his wife, Katie McNeil Diamond. Despite a significant age difference of 29 years, the couple's relationship is characterized by deep understanding, unwavering support, and mutual respect. Katie is his confidant, his rock, and his source of strength. The joy of being a grandparent. The joy of grandparenthood is often described as a second chance at parenthood, an opportunity to re-experience the joys of raising children without the immense responsibilities and concerns. For Diamond, this joy came in the form of his 6 grandchildren: Charlie, Elijah, Anna, Ruby, Zoe, and Levi. Their affection for their grandfather, their presence at his concerts, and their effort to help him stay active have provided an additional source of motivation for Neil. This has been instrumental in driving him to continue creating music despite the challenges posed by Parkinson's. Their love for their legendary grandfather extends beyond their personal interactions. They've taken to social media platforms to publicly express their love and admiration for him. In turn, Diamond proudly proclaims his grandchildren are his greatest joy, their vibrant energy serving as a constant source of inspiration for his undying love for music. A past marked by love and loss. Neil Diamond's journey hasn't been devoid of heartache. He's been through failed relationships, immense guilt, and a notable divorce settlement that made headlines. His past attempts at love had cost him dearly, emotionally and financially. The dissolution of his marriage with Marcia Murphy was marked by a substantial financial settlement, sparking rumors of a $150 million payout. But Diamond refuted these figures, stating that while the settlement was significant, it was less than that amount. Despite the emotional turmoil, Diamond has had no resentment about his past. He famously stated his ex-wife was, quote, worth every penny. His statement was a testament to his maturity, his capacity to forgive, and his ability to look back at his past with a sense of acceptance. Music as therapy. For Neil Diamond, music has long been a sanctuary, a source of solace, and a confidant to express feelings too complex for words. During the tumultuous aftermath of his divorce, he found solace in creating Tennessee Moon, an album that served as an emotional outlet, a cathartic journey to heal his wounded heart. The therapeutic nature of music isn't a revelation exclusive to Diamond, of course. It's a phenomenon artists across the globe have tapped into. According to the American Music Therapy Association, music therapy interventions can be designed to promote wellness, manage stress, alleviate pain, express feelings, enhance memory, improve communication, and promote physical rehabilitation. The experiences of artists like Diamond echo this scientific perspective, demonstrating how music can become a powerful ally in managing emotional distress and promoting wellness. The power of music as therapy is no small feat. It's proof positive of the profound impact music can have on our lives, a truth that Neil Diamond's journey eloquently encapsulates. As he navigates the challenging terrain of Parkinson's disease, music remains his constant companion, a beacon of hope amidst the storm, and a tool for emotional expression and catharsis. A new chapter in love. After the tumultuous journeys of the past, Neil found love again with Katie McNeil. Their wedding in 2012 marked a fresh chapter in Diamond's personal life, full of joy, contentment, and mutual support. As Diamond navigates through this more challenging chapter of his life, his union with Katie has proven to be a blessing, providing him with limitless joy, companionship, and unwavering support. Looking forward. As the sun sets on one chapter of Neil Diamond's life, the dawn of another beckons. A life no longer punctuated by the high-energy concerts and world tours that characterized his vibrant career, but one that instead finds its rhythm in the quieter moments. As he continues his battle with Parkinson's disease, Diamond's future appears to be one where resilience, love, and music converge. Given Diamond's undying passion for music, it's safe to speculate that he will continue to engage in the creative process despite not being able to perform on stage as he once did. Perhaps we might see more of his musical ideas come to life in the form of new albums, a possibility that's bound to excite fans worldwide. Alternatively, he could continue contributing to musical projects like Broadway's A Beautiful Noise, ensuring his legacy continues to inspire future generations. Moreover, he's expressed an unexpected improvement in his voice since retiring from touring. This opens up exciting opportunities from intimate studio recordings to collaborative endeavors with other artists. In an era where digital collaborations are increasingly common, we may witness Diamond blending his timeless style with that of contemporary artists, offering a fresh take on his beloved classics. His love story with wife Katie McNeil Diamond also looks set to flourish in the years to come. Their bond, characterized by deep understanding and unwavering support, has been a pillar of strength for Diamond in his fight against Parkinson's. Losing his voice. In a 2010 concert in New Orleans, which was part of a Simon & Garfunkel reunion tour, then 78-year-old Art Garfunkel experienced a major setback to his singing career. Midway through the performance, he lost his ability to sing, an incident that led to the diagnosis of partial paralysis of one of his vocal cords. After the incident, Garfunkel stopped smoking both tobacco and cannabis later that same year. The freak medical crisis that took place a little more than a decade ago threw his career into uncertainty. In the immediate aftermath, Garfunkel, who had been singing since he was 5, canceled his tour with Simon and took a hiatus from performing. Not surprisingly, he was faced with a serious identity crisis as he couldn't imagine himself without singing. In his own words from a 2018 interview with The Desert Sun, Garfunkel said, quote, "I'm born to be a singer. I don't know myself without singing." Garfunkel's road to recovery was lengthy, taking until 2014 for him to regain his singing ability and resume touring. However, the journey wasn't easy and involved what he referred to as patience beyond patience. To aid his recovery, he began by softly singing along to the mellow tunes of his favorite artists, including James Taylor and the Everly Brothers. He then graduated to performing in empty concert halls, later progressing to small audiences such as his wife's Buddhist congregation and an art gallery in New York City with about 90 seats. In what he described as a major identity crisis, he transitioned from being the perfectionist Art Garfunkel to a far less capable and confident man he jokingly referred to as Walter. Despite the fears and doubts, Garfunkel bravely took on the challenge of getting back on stage, even when he felt he couldn't sing. Through a combination of adrenaline, fear, and sheer determination, he slowly regained his voice, stating in an interview, quote, "When you act as if you're recovered, the act brings along the truth." Finally, 4 years after the devastating incident, he felt comfortable enough to return to large-scale performances. What happened to Art? Following the dissolution of Simon & Garfunkel in 1970, Art Garfunkel embarked on a solo career, releasing his first critically acclaimed album, Angel Clare, in 1973. His second solo album, Breakaway, in 1975, marked a brief reunion with Simon, with the duo collaborating on What a Wonderful World. This was a poignant moment, marking the first Simon & Garfunkel track released since their breakup. However, a 1981 reunion concert in Central Park, which drew around 500,000 people, demonstrated that the pair still struggled with their working relationship. Subsequent plans for a tour and a double album were eventually abandoned, with the songs originally meant for their collaborative work ending up in Paul Simon's solo repertoire. Art then explored other avenues, taking up acting roles in movies such as 1971's Carnal Knowledge and TV shows like Arthur. Meanwhile, he continued to work on his solo music, occasionally collaborating with renowned artists like Bruce Springsteen. Despite his vocal cord issue in 2010, Garfunkel managed to recover and continue singing, stating in 2013 that his voice was 96% back after 3 years of diligent work. The breakup of Simon and Garfunkel originated from a perceived breach of trust. As one half of a massively successful musical duo, Art felt betrayed when Paul released a solo single under a different name while they were still signed to big records as a pair. This sparked tensions that eventually led to their official separation in 1970. When asked about a possible reunion with Simon, Garfunkel has expressed pessimism in recent years. In 2014, he was quoted saying, "I know that audiences all over the world like Simon and Garfunkel. I'm with them, but I don't think Paul Simon's with them." Further comments from both Simon and Garfunkel have reinforced the idea that a reunion is unlikely due to their personal issues. In the end, it seems their legacy is a complex one, shaped by immense success, personal tensions, and occasional reunions. As Garfunkel himself said in a 2017 interview, his relationship with Paul is, quote, "like a marriage that waxes and wanes." Simon says, "The thought of a reunion of the legendary duo Simon and Garfunkel is naturally quite tantalizing to fans, but Paul Simon has been quite candid about the lack of likelihood of that event. In a 2016 interview with David Green on NPR, Simon underscored his belief that a reunion was not on the horizon. He said, quote, "I don't think most people do want a reunion. The fact is, like, we did do 2 big reunions and we're done." Simon's comments point to a deeply strained relationship with Garfunkel, suggesting that their reunions were less about reliving the glory days and more about fulfilling perceived obligations. He further clarified his stance, saying, "Quite honestly, we don't get along, so it's not like it's fun." The artist's focus has decidedly shifted to his solo career since the dissolution of Simon and Garfunkel. He's one of the best-selling artists of all time and has consistently churned out critically acclaimed music, showcasing his immense talent and versatility. His 15th solo studio album, 7 Psalms, released May 19, 2023, demonstrates his continued creativity and dedication to his craft. The album, conceived as a 7-part piece to be listened to in its entirety, is an entirely acoustic performance featuring guests like Wynton Marsalis and Simon's wife, Edie Brickell. Over the years, he's garnered numerous awards and accolades, including 12 Grammys, a Lifetime Achievement Award, and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, both as part of Simon and Garfunkel and as a solo artist. Garfunkel has had his fair share of noteworthy achievements too. Beyond his successful solo career, he received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award with Simon and was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of the duo. Despite the friction, both artists have continued to contribute significantly to the musical landscape. Passing the torch. While a Simon and Garfunkel tour might not be in the cards, Art Garfunkel's musical legacy continues to reverberate through his son, Art Garfunkel Jr., who has embraced the world of music with a passion and talent reminiscent of his father. Carrying the same name as his legendary father, the young Garfunkel is imbued with a sense of musical tradition, but he brings his own unique style and flavor to his work. Born into a household resonating with melodies and harmonies, Garfunkel Jr. had an early exposure to music. This led to an interest in it and eventually a career in the field. His musical style, while reflective of his father's influence, also showcases his unique flair and understanding of contemporary music trends. Though he has big shoes to fill, Art Jr. has shown promise, demonstrating the same emotive power and musical versatility that characterized his father's career. While following in the footsteps of a renowned musician can be daunting, Art Jr. embraces the challenge. By choosing to follow a musical path, he's not only continuing his father's legacy, but also carving out his own.
Paul Simon is quitting touring. Paul Simon, the legendary singer-songwriter, has recently revealed he's experiencing hearing loss. The 79-year-old musician discussed in an interview with the New York Times how this has affected his life and career, and he's reflected on his own mortality. He first became aware of the hearing loss in 2019. During the final leg of his farewell tour, he noticed he was having trouble hearing certain frequencies and his voice sounded different to him. After undergoing several tests, he was diagnosed with Meniere's disease, a disorder of the inner ear that can cause hearing loss, vertigo, and ringing in the ears. Since then, Simon has been learning to cope with the condition. He's been working with a hearing specialist to adjust his hearing aids and monitor his hearing levels, and has been experimenting with different ways of performing and recording music. Despite these challenges, Simon remains committed to his art. He has continued to write and record new music, and has even collaborated with other musicians remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic. He's also been reflecting on his legacy and his place in music history. In his New York Times interview, he spoke about his own mortality and the passing of his contemporaries. Quote, "My generation's time is up. We're on the way out. It's just a matter of time, and I'm okay with that." He also acknowledged that his hearing loss has made him more aware of the fragility of life and has forced him to confront his own limitations. Regardless of these sobering thoughts, Simon remains optimistic about the future. He believes music will continue to evolve and inspire future generations, and that he's played a small part in that process. Paul will keep making music. Simon's career has spanned more than 6 decades and has included collaborations with some of the most influential musicians of his time. He first rose to fame as part of the duo Simon and Garfunkel and went on to have a successful solo career. He's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice and has won numerous awards for his music. Despite his many accolades, Simon remains humble and grateful for his success. He's always been committed to his craft and has never lost sight of the power of music to connect people and inspire change. As he faces the challenge of hearing loss and of mortality, he remains an inspiration to musicians and fans alike. His latest album, 7 Psalms, is a powerful meditation on mortality and spirituality. It was released in June 2021 and features 7 new songs inspired by the biblical book of Psalms. Each song reflects on different aspects of the human experience, from love and loss to faith and doubt. Despite the album's religious themes, Simon has said he's not a particularly religious person. Instead, he sees the Psalms as a universal expression of the human condition and a source of comfort and inspiration for people of all faiths and backgrounds. The album's title track, Praise, is a joyful celebration of life and love, set to a lively African-inspired beat. Simon sings of the beauty of the natural world and the power of human connection, urging listeners to praise the world and all that's in it. Other songs on the album are more contemplative, grappling with the pain and uncertainty of morality. Questions for the Angels is a haunting ballad that imagines a conversation between the narrator and an angel as they discuss the meaning of life and death. Simon's voice is filled with longing and vulnerability as he asks, "Where do I belong? What is my purpose? Who will love me when I'm gone?" Similarly, The Afterlife is a wistful reflection on the mysteries of the afterlife and the hope that there might be something more beyond this world. Simon's voice is tender and introspective as he sings, "Maybe there's some other place where we will meet again, by a river wide and cool or on a mountain trail." Throughout the album, Simon's lyrics are infused with a sense of humility and wonder as he contemplates the mysteries of existence. He acknowledges the inevitability of death, but also finds solace in the beauty and richness of life. "Love and blessings to the ones who come after and all that we leave behind," he sings on New York Is My Home. Paul's marriage to Edie Brickell. Paul made headlines in 1992 when he married Edie Brickell, a 26-year-old singer-songwriter. At the time, Simon was 50 and already a music icon. Brickell, on the other hand, was a relatively unknown artist who had just released her debut album. The couple's relationship had a rocky start as they were involved in a highly publicized altercation in which police were called to their home. But they were able to work through their issues and have since gone on to have a long and successful marriage, raising 3 children together. They met in 1990 when she auditioned for a role in his Broadway musical, The Cape Man. Though she didn't get the part, they stayed in touch and began dating a few years later. They tied the knot in May of '92 in a small ceremony at their home in New Canaan, Connecticut. Despite the controversy surrounding their age difference and the early turbulence in their relationship, Simon and Brickell have proven to be a strong and enduring couple. They've collaborated musically on several occasions, including on the 2014 album So Beautiful or So What, which Simon has described as a collaboration with my wife Edie Brickell. She's a great writer and singer. In addition to their musical partnership, Simon and Brickell have also been active in philanthropy and social causes. They've donated to various organizations, including the Children's Health Fund and Nature Conservancy, and have been vocal advocates for environmental issues. Throughout the marriage, they have maintained a relatively low profile, avoiding the spotlight and focusing on their family and music. But their relationship has continued to fascinate fans and the media alike, with many curious about the dynamics of their age gap and longevity of their marriage. It serves as a testament to the power of love and partnership. More about Paul. Paul was born October 13, 1941 in Newark, New Jersey. He grew up in Queens, where he met his future musical partner, Art Garfunkel, in elementary school. His early musical influences included doo-wop and rock and roll, and he also had a deep affinity for folk. He and Garfunkel began performing together as teens and soon gained a following in the Greenwich Village folk scene of the early 60s. Their breakthrough came with the release of their debut album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m., in 1964, which featured the hit single The Sound of Silence. After a brief hiatus, they reunited in 1965 and went on to release a string of classic albums, including Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, Bookends, and Bridge Over Troubled Water. Their intricate harmonies, thoughtful lyrics, and Simon's innovative guitar work helped establish them as one of the most important and influential musical acts of the 60s. Following the duo's breakup in 1970, Simon embarked on a successful solo career that has spanned more than 5 decades. He's been recognized with 16 Grammy Awards, a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Recording Academy, and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, both as a member of Simon & Garfunkel and as a solo artist. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know that Paul Simon has recently announced that he's giving up touring? Let us know in the comments section below.